Why do we break when life gets hard? It is because we are rigid. We have a plan, a perfect, straight line from where we are to where we want to be. And when life blocks that plan, when an obstacle appears, we crash against it. We get angry, we get frustrated, we might even shatter. But look at nature, look closely. The strongest thing in the world is not the rock that stands still. It is the water that moves around it. The rock can be worn down, cracked, and eventually turned to sand. But the water just keeps flowing. What if the secret to survival, the secret to true strength, is not to be stronger, but to be softer? What if it's not about forcing our will upon the world, but about learning to flow with it? This was the hard lesson waiting for a man named Ren. Ren was a master builder, an architect of great renown. He believed in control. He believed in straight lines, perfect angles, and the unyielding power of human will over the forces of nature. His latest project was his most ambitious, to build a grand stone bridge across a wide, wild river that had resisted all previous attempts to tame it. He saw the river not as a living entity, but as a problem to be solved, an obstacle to be conquered. He drew his plans, perfect and straight, a direct path from one bank to the other. He began the work with immense confidence. He and his crew laid the first massive stone pillar in the riverbed, but the river was patient. The current, relentless and powerful, swirled around the stone, undermining its foundation day and night. One morning, Ren arrived to find the pillar tilted, half submerged in the churning water. He gritted his teeth. He would not be defeated. He ordered his men to use bigger stones, to dig deeper. He shouted at the water as if it were a disobedient worker. He poured more mortar, more stone, more of his own energy into the fight. The veins on his temples pulsed with stress. He was exhausted, his body aching, his spirit frayed. But his belief was absolute. If he just pushed hard enough, if he applied enough force, the river would eventually submit to his will. Weeks later, a storm rolled in. The river swelled, its calm surface transforming into a raging torrent. The next dawn, Ren stood on the bank and saw the ruins of his second attempt. The pillars were gone, swept away as if they were mere pebbles. The river flowed on, indifferent. After his third bridge collapsed, a monument to his failed philosophy, Ren finally gave up. He sank to his knees in the soft mud of the riverbank, completely defeated. The fight was gone from him. He just sat there, staring blankly at the water that had broken his spirit. As he sat, a small, simple wooden raft drifted into his view. It moved with surprising grace through the chaotic currents that had destroyed his mighty structures. On the raft stood an old man, his back straight but relaxed. This was old Jaren, the ferryman. He held a single, long pole, not to fight the water, but to gently guide his raft, nudging it here and there, using the river's own energy to carry him across. He looked completely at ease, a part of the very chaos that had defeated Ren. Ren watched, mesmerized by the old man's effortless dance with the river. He finally found his voice and yelled across the water, his words laced with desperation. "How do you do that? The current is too strong. The river is impossible." Jaren heard him. With a few gentle pushes of his pole, he steered the simple raft toward the bank where Ren was sitting. He glided to a soft stop right at Ren's feet. The ferryman smiled, his eyes holding the calm depth of the river itself. "The current is only strong if you fight it, builder." Ren scrambled to his feet, gesturing wildly at the water. "But I must fight it. I need to build a bridge." I need to go straight across. My path is direct, but the river blocks me at every turn. It stands in my way. Jaren didn't argue. Instead, he knelt down and dipped his hand into the cool water, letting it run through his fingers. He cupped his hands, and the water filled them perfectly, taking their shape. "Look at the water, Ren," he spoke softly, but his voice carried over the river's noise. "If I put it in a cup, it becomes the cup. If I put it in a bottle, it becomes the bottle. Here in my hands, it is the shape of my hands." He then opened his fingers, and the water slipped through, rejoining the river without a trace. It does not argue. It does not demand that the cup change its shape for it. It adapts. It flows. When it meets a rock in its path, does it stop and shout? No. It flows around it, or over it, or under it. It finds the path of least resistance, and it continues on its journey. Jaren stood up and pointed to a dead, brittle branch lying on the shore. Then he pointed to a patch of slender reeds growing by the water's edge. "You, builder, are like that dead branch. You are stiff, you are rigid. So when the flood comes, when the great force of life pushes against you, you snap, you break." He then walked over to the reeds and gently bent one down until it was flat against the ground. "Now be like the reed. When the water rushes, the reed bends, it yields, it lies flat, and lets the powerful force pass over it. And when the water recedes, what happens?" He let the reed go, and it sprang back up, standing tall and unharmed. The reed survives because it does not resist, it bends. You are trying to break the river, Ren, so the river is breaking you. You believe strength is in resistance, in holding your ground. But the river teaches us that true strength is in yielding. Stop being a rock, trying to stand against the flood. Be like water, be like the reed, learn to flow. Yaren's words echoed in the space where Ren's anger and frustration used to be. It was like a bolt of lightning striking his mind. He looked from the calm face of the old ferryman to the relentlessly flowing river. He then turned and looked at the wreckage of his work. The broken stone pillars, half sunk in the mud, were symbols of his own rigidity. They were monuments to his stubborn belief that the world must bend to his plan. Then he looked back at the water, endlessly flowing, endlessly adapting. He finally saw it. He had confused strength with stiffness. He had believed that his unyielding plan was a sign of his power. In reality, it was his greatest weakness. He was trying to force his one single idea onto a complex and changing reality instead of working with reality. He understood in that moment that surrender, the kind Yaren spoke of, doesn't mean losing. It doesn't mean giving up on your goal. It means letting go of your rigid path to that goal. It means maneuvering. It means adapting. It means flowing. A smile, the first genuine smile in months, spread across Ren's face. He thanked the old ferryman, who simply nodded and pushed his raft back into the current, disappearing downstream. Ren did not try to rebuild his bridge that day. He spent weeks just watching the river. He studied its currents, its eddies, its moods during the day and night. He learned its language. When he finally returned to his work, his plans were completely different. He didn't design a straight, rigid wall to defy the river. He designed a bridge that curved, its supports placed not where he wanted them, but where the riverbed was strongest. He designed piers that were shaped like the prow of a ship, to split the current gently rather than blocking it. He used materials that had a slight capacity to flex, to absorb the river's force rather than shattering under it. He was no longer fighting the river. He was in partnership with it. And this time, the bridge stood. It stood strong, not through brute force, but through intelligent design and humility. Months later, Ren stood on the center of his completed bridge, a masterpiece of harmony, not conquest. He looked down at the water, flowing peacefully beneath him. He was no longer the builder who fought the river. He was the man who had learned to flow. The moral of this story is simple, but profound. Rigidity leads to breaking, while adaptability leads to survival and strength. Life, like the river, is a powerful, unpredictable force. It will present us with obstacles we cannot simply smash through. Like a river, we must learn to flow around these obstacles rather than crashing against them. This is true strength, the ability to change our shape, to adapt our path without ever losing our essential nature or our ultimate direction. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more reflections on finding strength in unexpected places. Stay curious and remember to flow.